Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to a look ahead to this weekend's Turkish Grand Prix. Yes, for the first time since 2011, you're going to hear that a lot this week. Formula One returns to Istanbul Park, a circuit which is often thrown into the hat when us F1 fans are asked which modern day tracks we'd like to see back on the calendar. Then again, that list is probably made up of about 100 other tracks. But the point is, it's a popular one among fans, and I, for one, am really looking forward to seeing how the current crop of cars go around the track, especially through that incredible multi-apex Turn 8. The onboards should be awesome, and I am just so ready for this weekend's action. Hopefully it can do enough, as I've said about other tracks this year, to stake a claim for a permanent spot on the calendar. Maybe that April 25th date for next year that's become vacant. You never know. But anyway, the last time F1 visited Turkey was, as I say, back in 2011, where we were into the second season of Sebastian Vettel and Red Bull's run of 4 world titles, so it will probably come as no real surprise to hear that Vettel took pole position for the race with a time of a 1:25.049, which I think we can expect to see beaten this weekend, provided it stays dry, and the German went on to lead home a Red Bull 1-2 with teammate Mark Webber second and Fernando Alonso in third place for Ferrari. I will throw the lap times from that event up on screen now. It does seem a little bit pointless, given that these will be likely beaten this weekend, but it's worth a look just for reference, because it will be interesting to see just how much they are beaten by, the difference between 2011 and 2020. As you'd expect, that pole time from Vettel was the fastest of the weekend, and just bear in mind that the FP1 time you see there was set on a wet track. Let's have a look at some circuit stats then. A lap of Istanbul Park runs for 5.338 kilometres. If you prefer that in miles, that's 3.317, and is made up of 14 corners. 8 of those is to the left and 6 to the right. And come Sunday, we're going to have a total of 58 race laps. There's 2 DRS zones this weekend. The first one will run down the start-finish straight, and the second on the long run to turn 12 with the activation point just before the kink of turn 11. And for what it's worth, the race lap record was set by Juan Pablo Montoya all the way back in 2005 with a time of a 1:24.770. Since its debut on the calendar in 2005, Istanbul has hosted 7 F1 races with 5 different drivers taking victory in that time. The first was Kimi Raikkonen, and the most recent, of course, was Sebastian Vettel. But it's Felipe Massa who holds the record for the most wins at the track with 3, and they were back-to-back wins between 2006 and 2008. It was very much a Massa track back in the day. The Brazilian also holds the record for the most poles with 3, and there has been a total of 4 different pole sitters over the years. And the pole sitter, by the way, has gone on to win 5 times from the 7 races held at the circuit. Now, overtaking is absolutely possible around Istanbul Park. In fact, at the time, the 2011 Turkish Grand Prix equalled the record for most overtakes recorded during a dry race, but strategy will still be massively important, as it always is. The tyres available for this weekend are the hardest in the Pirelli range, so that's the hard C1, the medium C2 and the soft C3. The standard allocation has also changed for the event, as it did in Portugal, just as a heads up, with drivers each getting 7 sets of the softs, 3 of the mediums and 3 of the hards. Turn 8 will be the most demanding part of the track on the tyres, and will put a huge amount of energy through them, with Pirelli noting that the front right will bear the brunt. The track is also expected to be green, as you might expect, and to add to that, it has recently been resurfaced as well, so we might see drivers wrestling with their cars through the early stages of the weekend. When it comes to the strategy itself, I think we can expect a one-stop strategy, no great surprise there. That's certainly at the very least what teams are going to aim for. Okay, yes, the track is quite demanding on tyres and it is going to be quite slippery, but with Pirelli bringing the hardest compounds in the range, that might not be a huge issue. The truth is, though, we just don't really know, and so getting plenty of laps on the board during practice will be absolutely crucial for the teams. The weather could play its part, as I'm sure commentary will tell us constantly through the race if it gets a little bit dull, but at time of recording the forecast is looking dry, although there is around about a 40% chance of rain during qualifying on Saturday, and 30% for the chance on Sunday. So there's a chance, which means it's probably going to be bone dry, because that's just the way it seems to go. Anyway, the safety car could also be a factor, but it has only appeared twice before in Turkey, and that was in 2006 and 2008. So although it is possible, it is certainly not a given. Right then, time for some maths. The race at Istanbul Park has never seen a world champion crowned. However, that could all change this year, as Lewis Hamilton could wrap up his record equaling 7th world title on Sunday. So before I get on to my predictions, let's have a look at how he can confirm that title. So Hamilton currently holds an 85-point lead over teammate Valtteri Bottas, and with just 78 points available after Turkey, Bottas must outscore Hamilton by 8 points or more if he wants to keep his slim championship hopes alive. Therefore, the title will be decided if Hamilton wins and that's regardless of what Valtteri Bottas does. Bottas wins, but Hamilton finishes second and takes the point for fastest lap. Hamilton finishes at least fourth with Bottas second or lower. Hamilton finishes at least fifth with Bottas third or lower. Hamilton finishes sixth with Bottas third or lower without the point for fastest lap. Hamilton finishes seventh with Bottas fourth or lower. Hamilton finishes eighth with Bottas fifth or lower. Hamilton finishes ninth with Bottas sixth or lower. Oh dear, basically he's going to win it. Hamilton finishes 10th and Bottas finishes 6th or lower without fastest lap point. Hamilton fails to score and Bottas finishes 7th or lower. It should also be noted that if Hamilton leaves Turkey with a lead of 78 points, which would again be the maximum number of points still available, he would still be champion as he would have more wins than Bottas and so would take the crown on countback. And that feels like the perfect time to move on to my predictions then, and following those title permutations, I'm going to kick it off with an insanely bold prediction. Hamilton will win the 2020 title and he will probably even do so this weekend. I know, crazy talk, I don't know where I get these predictions from. Anyway, I could throw some wild predictions out there quite easily for this weekend, but I'm going to be realistic about this and say Hamilton for pole and the win with teammate Bottas in second and Max Verstappen third. Unless we get some kind of chaos, a retirement or some sort of penalty, I don't see it going any other way. That is the way it seems to go when we have, I suppose you could say, normal races. I do just want to quickly add, though, that I'm going to predict a decent weekend for Alex Albon. I still think he'll be a long way off his teammate, but I reckon he can make the top four in Turkey, and he really needs a good result this weekend. Time is running out to impress Red Bull, and some of you, in fact many of you, might even argue that whatever he does, it'll be too late. It's a huge weekend for him, and I really, really hope he can deliver. Aside from, I guess, waiting on Hamilton to wrap up the title, though, the next area to focus on will be the battle for third in the Constructors. Right now, there is just 1 point separating Renault from McLaren and Racing Point, and this battle looks as though it will be going right down to the wire in Abu Dhabi. But I've got a good feeling about McLaren this weekend. It wasn't a great result for them at Imola, finishing 7th and 8th, and then on top of that seeing Ricciardo up on the podium for Renault. Not a terrible result, by the way, by any stretch, and given how close the midfield was running, it could easily have been much better. But the pace is still definitely there for McLaren. To be honest though, I just find it impossible to call, but these are predictions, I've got to say something, so I'm going to say Sainz finishes the highest of those 6 drivers ahead of Ricciardo and Norris, but do not rule out Sergio Perez getting involved in that fight. We know what he can do. And by the way, super quickly, Sainz also is my wildcard for a podium if something happens at the front. But what do you guys think? You can let me know your predictions for this weekend down in the comments section. So what is your top 3 for the race, and which driver is your wildcard? Before I go, just a quick heads up that session times are much earlier than usual this weekend. On Friday, FP1 starts at 8 AM UK time, FP2 is at midday, and then on Saturday, FP3 starts at 9 AM with qualifying at midday, and the race gets underway on Sunday at just after 10 AM. Again, that's UK time, and as ever, there is a link in the description to the official schedule for the weekend and broadcast information. That is it, though, for the Turkish Grand Prix preview, but I will be back soon with another video. In the meantime, though, don't forget that you can, of course, follow me over on social media, and all of the links you need for that are in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.